Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Hi everyone, happy Saturday. Oh my gosh, is it just me or is this like the best day ever? Well, actually today's Friday. I'm recording this the day before. I know, it's a bit sneaky of me, isn't it? But the thing is, the reason why is because my body, I'm tuning into my body at the moment. And I think I mentioned to you guys before that I have a very, in terms of the energy being masculine and feminine, yin and yang and all that sort of jazz, my body is very masculine in that it doesn't love moving. My body loves to be horizontal. Was that an overshare? I don't think so. I just love to be still all the time. I love to be sitting or laying down, whether I'm laying in a bath, standing in a shower, lying in my bed, sitting on my couch. That's my happy place. I used to love hiking and walking around, and you know what? I trekked to Base Camp Everest, which by the way is not at the bottom of the mountain. It's like quite a distance up. And you know, I'm just telling, I walked the Camino. There are 4 different paths of the Camino. I've walked them all from Paris to Spain. And I loved it so much, but my body's changed, my energy's changed, and now it might be because I'm heading into the crone phase of life. I don't know. Like, I'm really excited about that because it means that I'm suddenly going to wake up with all this wisdom, I'm told. But yeah, so my body just loves to be horizontal. Now, the reason that I'm recording this podcast today is so that I can honor what my body's really needing, and that's rest. It's been a huge week for my business, and yeah, I'm just needing rest. So I thought rather than get up early tomorrow morning and record, I'll just do it now. So yeah, happy Friday afternoon, but happy Saturday as you're listening to this. I hope that you're all doing really, really well too. Welcome, of course, to all of the new subscribers, and thank you very much for your very encouraging messages about hitting our milestone of 15,000, which is just, I still can't believe it. It blows my mind. And of course, thank you to everybody for pushing play on another episode today. And, oh no, Gabe's not going to join us. He's come in, had a look, and he's walked off. Even he's tired of the sound of my voice, I think. Bless him. He sits here and listens to all my Zooms all day. Alrighty, so let's get down to business. What I want to talk with you about today is I've got a whole bunch of topics that I'm going to be speaking into over the coming month that really harmonize the masculine and the feminine energy. I know, you guys, some people have been asking me for more of this. So, of course, I love doing this. Of course, I'm going to give you more of it. So what I was asked for guidance around this week was, oh, he's back. Hi, Gabe. Good boy, sit down. Good boy. Okay, so what I was asked for this week was what are your top 3 structures to help me create a practice that's aligned with my soul's value and purpose, and that can help my practice flourish and thrive. Okay, so this is not an uncommon question for me to receive. In fact, it's one of the questions that people often ask me when I do my little calls with them, which, by the way, if you are not in the Australian Counsellors in Private Practice online group with me, hit pause now, scroll down to the show notes, click join. Okay, submit a join request. It's going to be awesome. You are going to love it. In there, what happens is it's totally free, of course. Don't freak out. It's totally free. It's only available for people though who are counsellors, because I'll tell you why. This is my rationale. Okay. So I used to be a psychologist until I retired late last year on September the 1st. And what I knew was that in that world, we have lots and lots of groups for psychologists that nobody else can join. A social worker can't join, a coach can't join, anything like it's exclusive, And I also know from some of my social worker friends that there are groups around for social workers that psychologists and counsellors can't join. But guess what? There are no groups that are just for counsellors. And I'm in a number of groups where counsellors are, and they're meant to be groups for counsellors. But there's a whole mix of professions in there. And what happens, it's just my 5 cents, but what happens for me is that I see a lot of muddying of the waters and a lot of confusion. And it's because people want to help. And they have these really beautiful intentions and they want to jump in there and give support to people, but they're coming at it from their own professional background perspective, and that's not always relevant to counsellors. And what happens is, especially when we've got impressionable counsellors who might be new grads, or perhaps they've only ever been in paid employment and they're thinking about moving into private practice. Well, sometimes what I've witnessed and observed in these groups is that poor counsellor, I say poor because they receive a lot of information from a lot of people from different professional backgrounds that just doesn't fit with the background of a counsellor. And so I created this group and I'm trying to keep it as best as I can for counsellors so that they feel like they have, I don't want to use the word safe, but so that they have just a clear space that's free of any of that other stuff that might be going on, like the discussions around Medicare and things like that. But anyway, if you're a counsellor, not a psychologist or a social worker or a coach, if you're a counsellor, come and join that group. What's going to happen is when you join, you're going to get a welcome kit from me. You're going to be able to participate in our weekly live bite-sized trainings to help you with your private practice. You're going to learn how to start your private practice. You are going to learn a different theme each month. It's June now, and our theme for this month is organizing your finances and your money mindset in private practice. And we've got a challenge happening starting on Monday all around money mindset. It's like the first step to shifting how you feel about your fees and setting the right fee for you, and, calling in bad debts and how do you deal with difficult people who've suddenly decided they don't want to pay you, all of that sort of stuff. So we're just kind of in the early stage because it's just the first week of June now, going through that. So if you want to come, hit pause, send me a join request. I'll add you, and then you get all this good stuff, right? There's heaps of stuff. Also have monthly competitions. So last month it was a competition, and the prize in that was a $50 book depository voucher. I don't know what the prize is going to be this month. It'll probably be a book depository voucher again because that was really popular. Better than me buying stuff, right? You get to pick your own prize in a way. If I won a $50 book depository voucher, you guys know that I would blow it all on Oracle cards, don't you? Okay, so back to the topic. So anyway, the topic for today is my top 3 structures to help you create a soul-aligned private practice that is thriving and flourishing, as per your request. All right, so I actually wrote this up as a Facebook post today because, of course, not everybody, as much as I'd like them to, not everybody listens to the podcast. So I've thrown this up on Facebook as well, like an abbreviated version, but I'm going to go into the long version for you guys here. Okay, so I guess when we're thinking about masculine and feminine energy, right? The masculine energy really loves, as you know, that structure, really loves knowing what the next step is, needs those processes in place, wants everything to be kind of ticking along. Whereas the feminine is really about connecting with people. She loves that energy, really loves being able to sit there and hold space with a client, get in there, roll her sleeves up, be there, be present, communicate, listen, love, appreciate the sacred space that she gets to share with her client, go deep. She's all about that the talking, the rapport building, a relationship. In fact, she's so lit up by that if she could do it, caveat here, quick caveat, with the right clients. If she wasn't accepting every referral that just came through because of her scarcity mindset, and she was actually working with her ideal clients, she could do this all day and be totally lit up by the end of the day after seeing 4, 5, or 6 clients. And she would still love to catch up with me for drinks and dancing until the wee hours of the morning. Like, that's how lit up and energized she'd feel. She'd just feel great. But here's the thing. There are so many of us. I have a belief, and I love your thoughts on this too, but I have a belief when we think about the masculine and feminine that probably the majority of us live in our feminine, because the nature of our work is all around healing, listening, receiving, acceptance, compassion, nurturing. Do you know what I mean? So I think naturally we probably sit in that feminine space most of the time, and we probably move between, the healthy, sacred, divine feminine and, the wounded or shadow or unhealthy feminine. And so what happens is, when we are doing that work and we're seeing those clients and we're loving what we're doing, at the end of the day, we feel like we've accomplished something. We feel like we've achieved something because we've seen those 6 appointments in the calendar change color. They've gone from booked to attended, or maybe they've changed color because the people have paid. And, we feel really accomplished, don't we? But here's the thing. If you're noticing that you're not getting, say, for example, a consistent flow of referrals, maybe they're just kind of coming at you sporadically, or maybe you don't have a fantastic retention rate, or maybe you're doing the work and you're loving doing the work, but you're attracting some clients here and there that can't afford it, or they don't pay you, or they're dodging your invoices, or they've got insufficient funds, or whatever it is, and the money just isn't flowing like it should be. Or perhaps there are, despite you doing this beautiful, deeper work and you loving it, perhaps there are still gaps in the diary. Then this is what I want you to know. I want you to know that I have been there too. In fact, when I started my practice, I honestly thought that doing that deeper work, that soul work with my clients, was what I'd be doing, because nobody ever taught me about having structures in place, and I didn't even have a clue that I needed them, much less what I needed. And so for the first little while in private practice, I was like learning as I went, trialing and erroring, winging it, I was going to say put your hand up, but don't if you're driving. if you have been in that space too, and I think most of us have. So I guess just in the spirit of transparency, and with what I know to be true now, like 25 years on, here's what I've found to be my top 3 structures that I use for creating a thriving and soul-aligned private practice, okay? So the first thing is, of course, have a fee structure in place that supports your practice. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, yeah, I charge fees. What are you talking about? But listen to the second part of that sentence, that supports your practice. What I want you to do is have a think, or even better, if you can pull it up on the computer in front of you as we're talking, have a look at your fee structure and ask, is this fee structure supporting my practice? Yes or no? And what would need to be different in my fee structure for my practice to feel supported? All right. That's a first thing. You have to have a solid fee structure in place. Otherwise, you're going to be wishy-washy. You're going to be wavering on some things and not on others. It's going to be confusing for you, confusing for your bookkeeper and your accountant, and really confusing for your clients. And that energy is going to move from you and from your heart and soul into the business, right? Because it's just going to infuse every other touch point of the practice. But in addition to understanding and having in place a really sound fee structure that sits really, really well with your philosophy of practice and with your vision for the business, it also needs to include things like, and this isn't extensive, but just off the top of my head, it will need to include like your cancellation schedule, for example. You'd want to include a review date on it. So I just put my review date either at the top or in the bottom as a footer, just so, I can bring it out and see for myself, oh, it's been 2 years since I've had a look at this and, I need to update it. And also needs to include things like what does the fee structure include and what does it not cover. So they're just some tips to get you started thinking about your fee structure. But the value of having a really good fee structure in place means it's going to give you peace of mind when it comes time to do things like chase a debt or process a payment or even discuss your fees. Okay, so have that in place. The second thing, which I probably should have put this as the first thing because I could do this all day long. Set up your automations, because when you have automations in place, you are much better able to sit with your clients and do that deeper, beautiful, meaningful soul connection work, and just truly enjoy it, because you'll know that while you're in that session, other things are happening in your beautiful solo private practice like clockwork behind the scenes. It's called setting and forgetting. And the beauty of having automations set up in your practice is that when you've got them, you'll be able to do what I do if you want and, just take your foot off the accelerator. Not only that, having automations in place for your practice actually takes things off your plate and it simplifies things for you, because let's face it, no offense, but you are one woman, okay? You're one woman. And as much as, of course, we're capable of doing everything that we put our minds to, you don't have to do all of the things. Imagine being able to have a private practice where you just got to do the things you wanted to do, where you just got to do the good stuff, okay? So my practice is as automated as you can get it. It's probably 90% automations. It's easy. My practice is at the point where my clients book their own sessions. My clients reschedule their own sessions. I've got all my apps connected to all my diaries. I've got everything everywhere. And it just all happens like clockwork. I don't even have to give it a second thought. Honestly, all I do is periodically I'll just go into the back end and I will just check that they're all still working fine. And of course they are. Technology is amazing these days and it's there to make your life easier. And so since I automated I don't know, I want to say 90%, but I will just be conservative and say 70%. Since I automated 70% of my practice, I have been able to really settle in and just show up and just really love working with my clients even so much more, right? And you can do this too. There's no magic to it. It's just you've got to set aside time to set it up, and you need to know what you're setting up, obviously. And then the third tip that I have for creating structure so that your practice can thrive while you do a little bit less is to actually have a marketing plan in place that you implement with consistency. Okay, so a marketing plan doesn't just mean you have an idea that you're going to go live every day. No, you need to have there's got to be strategy behind it. And this is where a lot of women fall over because it's not their thing. They're like, I hate marketing, Brooklyn. I don't want to do it. Don't force me to do a live. Don't tell me I've got to do a podcast. It's enough for me to just share a quote on my social media. And what happens is because there's so much resistance to doing the marketing, they're just kind of like it's a slapdash approach. And they end up, you've heard me talk about this before, it's like, the bane of my existence is seeing these beautiful, amazing practitioners not show up in a way that clients need them to. And what happens is these practitioners tell me one of their values is being authentic, but they don't give their marketing 5 minutes. And what they do is they'll share somebody else's quote and they drive traffic to that person's business. And I know this because guess what? It's happened to me. People have shared stuff that I have written because they liked it, right? They were inspired by it. And all they did was they hit share and they shared it to their timeline. And guess what? I got work out of that. Did the other counselor get any work from it? No. So when you're sharing other people's stuff, there is a strategy that you've got to use. Otherwise, you're going to be giving people like me your work, and you'll be sitting there wondering why your diary has gaps in it. And ladies, it does not need to be like that. Marketing does not have to be hard, all right? In fact, I wouldn't even call it marketing. I think you find your own word. For me, it's really like a relationship plan. I want to get to know people. So I don't see it as marketing. I wouldn't call it that for me. It doesn't sit right for me. I would call it like a connection plan, a relationship plan, a visibility strategy, something like that. But you have to have it in place, and there's got to be strategy behind it beyond sharing inspiring quotes. No one's booking in with you because you're sharing inspiring quotes. People booking with you because of what you've got to say, not what somebody else has to say. So make sure that you've got a really sound strategy behind your marketing plan. And guess what else? Once you've even got that in place, you can automate that. I do. And it results in work for me. And I'm not even doing anything. It's done. And so anyway, once you have that in place, you generate for yourself a really steady flow of referrals to your practice of dream clients that you really, really want to work with. And guess what else? Again, you get to, because you're not doing all your marketing anymore, you've now got that time available to spend doing what you really love, which is helping people, right? So it's just my opinion, but I think that so many of us have a natural inclination to want to spend that time in our sessions connecting more deeply with our clients, that sometimes we either forget, or we just neglect them, or we avoid them, or dare I say we procrastinate about doing the boring things like this, like your structure. But what ends up happening is it complicates our practice down the track, right? By meaning we don't have consistent referrals. That has a knock-on effect because now we don't have consistent income. How are we going to pay ourselves? How are we going to keep the lights on? Do you know what I mean? And so I want you to see how easy your practice can be when you've got structures like these 3 essential ones in place. And I want you to be able to do more of that deeper work with your beautiful clients if that's what you love doing. So that's a big part of the reason why I created the class. It's to teach you things like this and so much more. In fact, if you'd like some help looking at your practice and identifying structures that need to be in place to make your life easier, let's talk it through. Hit pause now on the podcast and, book a quick 15-minute chat with me, or connect with me on Facebook and send me a message through there. I'll set it up for us. It's not hard, and help is here. And there are plenty of people who've had quick calls with me and had amazing results and haven't been sold to, so don't freak out. The help is here. But these 3 structures are certainly essential to any successful private practice. And I think if you're someone who's in her feminine energy and you're so in love with doing the work and you're so in love with your clients and all of that sort of jazz, that thinking about the structure has just, been something you've avoided and you've just kind of let it crumble or go off to the side, and you're feeling the effects of that now, there's time to put some things in place. And I would love to teach you how to do that. In fact, with the class, it goes for 12 months. It's self-paced. And somebody asked me today, like, what's the time commitment? I thought that was a really good idea. So I'm going to go and, sorry, I've got the world's squeakiest chair here. And so what I'm going to do is update my frequently asked questions. But yeah, the time commitment will be a couple of hours a month. Really. I mean, you could spend more time on it if you wanted to. Like if you were loving that month's content, amazing. You can absolutely spend more time working through it, and I'll be available to help you with it. But at a minimum, it'll only be a couple of hours a month that you need. And by the end of that 12 months, you are going to be so much clearer on not only who you are as a woman, but also how your soul operates in relation to not just your business, but your life, and how you can get into alignment in a better, more powerful, more effective way with that beautiful masculine drive and those lovely feminine energies, so you can do things like what we're talking about today, thrive financially with your practice, and also like live a personal life that's meaningful for you. It's using these techniques that I have been able to reduce my working hours so that I can look after my mum, right? I think I've mentioned that to you before. So my mum's like, she's not in the best of health. And as you know, I sold my house recently, and the idea behind that was that so mum and I could, sell her property too. We're going to live together in a dual occupancy thing because she doesn't want to go to aged care. She doesn't want to do any of that. So this will just allow me to, like, the dual occupancy will allow me to still have my own space, but be there for her too. And it will allow her to retain her independence, but still feel supported by me. And it was by me learning how to harmonize the masculine side, like all those structures and the logic and the decision making and everything, with the feminine of seeing my clients and doing it in a way that felt really aligned with my energy and my purpose, that I've been able to create a structure in my business that supports me in working less hours so that I can care for my mum, right? Having a private practice for me isn't about, seven figures. It's not about that at all. I mean, if that's what you want, great. And I can absolutely help you get there. But for me, having my practice is a vehicle to me being able to do other things in my life. Does that make sense? And so I want you to have a think about how your practice is a vehicle for you to be able to do other things in your life. Right? Does it mean you can pay for the kids' soccer or footy or cricket? Does it mean that you can upgrade your home? Does it mean that you can get a new car? Does it mean that you can, care for one of your relatives? Does it mean you can work less so that you can do school drop-off and school pickup? Like, I want you to allow yourself to get out of your head and stop saying, I want to do it to serve and I want to have impact. I don't want to hear that anymore. I want you to be real and honest with yourself, please. Go deeper and ask yourself, what do I really want from my private practice? Go beyond the client session. Go beyond, the bricks and mortar if you're renting a place. Go beyond those, commonly thrown around terms of impact and service and things like that, and allow yourself to tune into why you want to do this. Why is it important that this practice is successful for you? Why? And I want you to share with me what your big why is. Send me an email, let me know on Facebook, whatever. I want to know, because here's the thing. Until you start connecting with that, some people call it a selfish why. And in my private practice women's circle, I refer to it as a selfish why earlier in the week. But you don't have to use the word selfish. But when you connect in with your why, that's when you're going to be able to start getting out of your own way and really make decisions based on where you want the business to go. Okay. But for all of that to happen as well, of course, we need to be harmonizing the doing of the masculine with the being of the feminine. And so today I'm speaking to the feminine energy by giving you the structures that you need to have in place that will allow you to continue to show up in your feminine energy. Okay. So, I can't wait to hear from you. I'm really excited to get the emails again and to get the Facebook messages. And if you need help with any of this, let me know. Otherwise, book a call, because I'd love to dive more deeply into this and help you identify where you're at with your practice. You might feel like you know, and you might feel like you have an idea, but sometimes we don't see our own blind spots, and I might have a different perspective to you that might just be the aha you need to help you unlock your potential for the business. And I'm so excited to do that for you. Oh my gosh. I think I sounded like Cookie Monster then. I was like, ugh. Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm going to go because I'm just like so wound up with happy energy at the moment. I hope you have a really amazing Saturday. Thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to hear from you. All right, guys, have a beautiful Saturday. Bye. Thank you you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.